Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. All right, it is week one. It is the regular season, and the 49ers have published their first depth chart of the year. Now, obviously, things can change, guys get injured, things shift around, but this is the first one of the season, so let's go through it. All right, depth chart. Now, it has starters, it has backups, but let's start from the top. We'll start from the offense. Obviously, quarterback. Brock Purdy is the starter. Mac Jones is officially his backup. At fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, no backup there. But at running back, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Obviously, we know Christian McCaffrey is the starter. Brian Robinson is his backup. But Isaac Guerrero is back as the third running back with Jordan James, rookie. So Jordan James is back in the lineup. He is practicing. He is wearing a glove. So I don't think he has a splint on his finger anymore, but he definitely probably has some protection on it. But it seems like Jordan James is giving Isaac Guerrero a run for his money. So that is the competition there. But obviously, solidly Christian McCaffrey, Brian Robinson at number two. Isaac Guerrero, Jordan James, number three. All right. So wide receivers. There was a big question on who the second wide receiver was going to be until Jauan Jennings showed up back at practice on Monday. So right now it is Ricky Pearsall as the number one and on the one side, and Jauan Jennings as the one on the other side. So one and two. The 49ers have Russell Gage and Sky Moore as the three and four. So Russell Gage Jr. back at practice on Monday as well with those five players. Again, only one player of the 53 is not practicing, and that was Jordan Watkins. But he was wearing the GPS vest, so he's getting there. He's getting closer to being able to practice with the team. But as of right now, only one out of the 53 is not practicing, which is crazy considering how many injuries there have been throughout training camp and the off season. For them to only be missing one starting 53 player is pretty impressive on the recovery standards. All right, so again, Ricky Pearsall, Jauan Jennings are the one and two. Russell Gage, Sky Moore, the three and four. Behind that, Jordan Watkins, once he gets healthy, he'll be the fifth wide receiver. Tight ends, George Kittle, of course, and then Luke Farrell, and behind him, Jake Tongas. No real questions there. Now, when it comes to the offensive linemen, Trent Williams at left tackle, Ben Barch has been officially named the left guard, Jake Brendel at center, Dominic Puni on the right side, Colton McKivitz on the right tackle side. Backups there, Connor Colby, which is who I'm really impressed with, rookie, is the backup for Dominic Puni. So good to have Dominic Puni back in the lineup because as a rookie, starting your first game in Seattle with a silent count, first NFL game, that's a daunting task. So Dominic Puni back in the lineup, which is good. Connor Colby can learn and kind of see what it's all about. Maybe, listen to what's going on and really watch the film. Spencer Burford is your tackle on the left side. And it's Austin Pleasance, Drew Moss, and Matt Hennessy are the other backups. I would think Austin Pleasance is the right tackle backup. Matt Hennessy, center backup, Drew Moss, guard backup. So, but really impressive though that Drew Moss and Connor Colby, both as rookies, are the backups for this offensive line. All right, so that is the offensive side of the ball. Defense. The starting four: Mykel Williams, Kalia Davis, Jordan Elliott, and Nick Bosa. So Mykel Williams is listed as the left defensive end. Kalia Davis is listed as the left tackle, left defensive tackle. Jordan Elliott is listed as the right defensive tackle, and Nick Bosa, the right defensive end. There is going to be times you're going to see five up front, I believe. That's just my belief. Behind them, Bryce Huff is the second. All of these guys are going to play because defensive line really works on a rotation. But Mykel Williams, the only rookie in the starting four. Backup four or second four, Bryce Huff, Alfred Collins, CJ West, and Yetur Gross-Matos. Behind them, Robert Beal, Jordan Jefferson, and Sam Okwanu. So again, Yetur Gross-Matos back in the mix on Monday. Huge brace on his leg, but he looks to be like he's going to be used as a rotational piece. I don't think they were going to bring him back. They were very careful with him. They're not going to bring him back unless he's healthy enough to go. So I think they're going to be very careful with him, but I think he is going to get some reps. And again, Alfred Collins kind of working his way back in after missing all of the offseason until training camp. CJ West, hyperextended knee, missed a lot of time as well. So those guys are going to get involved at pretty soon. Robert Beal has been on the team for a while. Jordan Jefferson, new member of the squad recently added. And then Sam Kwanu, who's been around for a little while, has shown some flashes of being a really good lineman pass rush. So we'll see how he goes. But I think most of those guys are going to get some time on the field, especially come Sunday. All right, starting linebackers. Fred Warner is your middle linebacker. Luke Gifford is the strong side. D Winters is the weak side. So it's Fred Warner, D Winters, Luke Gifford. The backups behind them, Tatum Bethune and Nick Martin. So Nick Martin is the weak side. Tatum Bethune is middle, is what they're saying. They don't have a Sam backup. So it's two backups, Tatum Bethune and Nick Martin. This is where there gets to be some questions in the secondary. Obviously, you're starting two, Renardo Green and Diamond Lenore. Behind them, it is Chase Lucas and Darrell Luter Jr., both guys who have had a lot of experience in the slot. The slot, the nickelback starter, is Upton Stout, only the second rookie in the whole lineup that's listed as a starter. So it's Michael Williams, Upton Stout. Those two guys are listed as starters on this depth chart. Darrell Luter, Chase Lucas are the guys who are the backups. Now, Chase Lucas has mostly played nickel, so I know they've given him some time on the outside, a little bit at practice, so I'm sure they're going to run with him doing more outside drills during practice, but obviously media is not allowed to see those at this time. So once training camp is over, we only see the beginning of practice. We don't get to see any 11 on 11 work, which is a bummer. But that's what we're looking at right now. So Renardo Green, Diamond Lenore, Upton Stout. Backups, Chase Lucas, Darrell Luter Jr. Safety. This listed as Jair Brown and Jason Pinnock. So Jair Brown, Jason Pinnock are your two starting safeties. Saran Neal is your second free safety, and Marquez Siegel is your second strong safety. So I think that's a good group of guys. Marquez Siegel has kind of given Jair Brown a little competition, which I think is up to his play a little bit. So we'll kind of see how that works. Maybe for week one, we'll see a little bit difference, something different, or maybe they rotate in and out a little bit. But I do expect Marquise Siegel to get some playing time somehow, somewhere, at some point during the season. So uh, obviously, punter, Thomas Morstead, kicker, Jake Moody. Holder is Thomas Morstead. Punt return, Sky Moore. And his backup is Jordan, because Jacob Cowing is out. He would have been your punt return. Kickoff returner is Isaac Garendo, and then his backup is Sky Moore. So you're going to be seeing Sky Moore returning punts and Isaac Garendo returning kickoffs. So that's, Isaac Garendo has some speed. I think they really just want to make sure that he's not fumbling the ball, and they also want to make sure he is healthy. So those are your guys who are on the depth chart. Obviously injured reserved. I spoke to Trent Taylor a little bit, just kind of chopping it up with him a little bit. He's loves being around the team, rehabbing, offering any advice he can as a veteran wide receiver to the group. So he just loves being involved. So your injured reserve list: Carter Bradley, Jacob Cowing, Kevin Givens, who should be back week 4, week 6, maybe. He can't be back week 4, week 5 to 8, maybe, with that torn pectoral muscle. Jacob Cowing also out for 4 weeks. He could come back week 5 or so. Patrick Taylor Jr., Trey Tomlinson all out as well. Teron Jackson as well. So we'll see. Demarcus Robinson out for 3 games, so he is not on this list at all. That'll change. Again, like I said, it's kind of a work in progress. Things are going to change as things evolve and guys come back or, leave. So that is your starting depth chart. So I don't think there are any real surprises other than I think there's maybe a few surprises more like the backup positions. Um, I just do think it's interesting that Isaac Arendo has seemingly kind of fallen out of grace a little bit. He was pretty much a solid 2, and now he's a 3.5. Also interesting that Connor Colby and Drew Moss beat out other more veteran linebackers for those backup guard positions. So, all right. So leave me any comments, any questions you have at all. Please please subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to talk about next. But that is the depth chart. Heading into week 1, I leave Saturday morning really early, heading up to Seattle to see every one of the 49ers fans in red at Lumen Field. And then, of course, they are pretty loud at that that stadium. But week one, kicking it off, NFL 49ers versus Seattle Seahawks to kick off the 2025 season. Hope you guys are all well. Leave me a comment and share. Talk to you later.